We want to start 2022 off with a wide perspective of everything and zero distortions to what we can achieve. Which is why today we'll be talking about the Laowa 12mm f2.80D. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So as you can see, this lens is pretty wide. We don't have to stand as close anymore when we vlog. We can actually get a little bit of distance. Now, while that's a huge plus, there are a few negatives to this lens. And just a quick note before we get started, there will be a pop-up somewhere on the screen to show what lens we're shooting on.
Now for starters, this is a fully manual lens, which is usually a downside for vlogging, but at 12mm and kind of stopped down a little bit more like we are here at f5.6, you really may not notice that much of a difference.
The second downside is that you won't be able to use your standard circular screw-on filters. This is due to the convex shape of the lens. However, this won't be an issue if you're using the square style drop-in filters. Laowa does sell the adapters for the square style filters, but we felt that we didn't need it when we purchased the lens.
Alright, and the last downside, and it's kind of nitpicky, is that there's no white dot along the outside here. That one that's usually kind of helping you line up the mounting position on it. And the reason why I say it's kind of a downside for some people is, in my case, when I was using this lens for some astrophotography, being able to switch lenses in the dark and see exactly where that mounting position is, either by like feel from the elevated dot or by seeing it from like some light bouncing off of it, is definitely like a huge plus, and it's helpful in the dark, so you're not just like taking and scraping your lens on that mounting receiver, I guess. But again, kind of nitpicky and specific, but still a downside for me.
Let's go to the market. So the question is, who's this lens for? We don't think it's geared specifically for photo or video, so the best way to answer this question is to show you a couple of things we're able to do with it.
So we're on the GoPro Hero 10 right now, in this scene and in the car scene earlier. So GoPros are kind of known for their wide angles with that super wide, but you do get some of this distortion around here. So we're going to compare that with some of the lens options that you can get for the cameras versus a traditional action camera like this.
Alright, so we've seen what the lens can do, compared it to some of the other options out there and discussed the negatives. And now we want to talk about some of the positives, starting with the build quality. This thing feels pretty solid and has some decent weight to it. Kind of middle of the road, where it's not as heavy as Sony's 12 to 24mm or their 16 to 35 at the same f2.8 focal lengths, but not as light as the 20 or 24mm. The aperture is clickable and the focus ring has hard stops, both of which will help you tell what you're shooting in the dark. The lens cap is more of an overcover instead of an inlet style, which helps you when you're finished shooting and want to slide the cap on real quick. There's felt type material inside to help make the slide over smooth and easy. The minimum focus distance is 18 centimeters, so you can get some unique looking macro shots. And lastly, this lens has what they call a frog eye coating, which has a hydrophobic effect to it.
Now, the biggest advantage that this lens is going to have over other wide-angle lenses is right in its name, 0D.
Would you like to see?
Now, we're not going to do any sciencey tests or anything like that, but if you want to compare how the distortion of this lens compares to other lenses, we got a couple links in the description, one of them from Laowa's actual site, so you can kind of compare those.
I personally really like the wide angle lens because you're able to really capture the environment and the scene. My first lens was actually a fisheye attachment for the iPhone, and I even named my Instagram Yoshi's Fish Eyes
for a very long time, and it was kind of weird. And while this lens isn't a fisheye, you're still able to get that wide shot without distorting your image.
Should we do a cooking montage?
Drop that shit.
One bite.
One bite. Cheers. Wow. So overall, this lens is really fun to use. It's very approachable and very forgiving because it's so wide, you can crop it in any composition you desire in post, and it really does challenge you creatively.
With that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please consider liking and subscribing, it really helps us out. And a link to this lens will be in our description. It's not affiliate yet. And yeah, that's it. Anything else?
No, I think that's it, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Drop that shit.